Follow Equestria Brotherhood, Chapter 31, in the Crimson Ranger, Into the Mines. Heaven strong, the dark strong, miners dwelling within, strong, unbending to the surface. A gentle frigid breeze blew on through the rolling hills of the northern province. The sky above returned a dull hue of gray, bolstering a deeper, more harrowing shade than usual, brought on by the low light of the early morning sun. Scurr sat on top of a smooth boulder with decaying brown vines crawling along the sides. A fire, low and dying, lay smoldering before him. Embers deep within the ash glowed faintly as the wind tenderly touched its dim light. Sitting in a spot, the vines underneath his haunches crunched crisply, rubbing his hooves all along the sides of his forelegs. Scooter warmed himself. All along the fire pit, laying on thin cloth mats with tattered edges, were legion soldiers sleeping. Soft snoring filled the air around Scooter while he stared at the small plume of smoke rising from the fire. The top ascending ashen cloud twisted slowly in the wind before dissipating entirely. Scooter sneezed, taking up his sleeve and wiping his nose. Exhaling heavily, he continued to remain quiet. Whopper was across from him on the other side of the fire pit. Opening his eyes and blinking briefly, Whopper arose slowly from his mat. Looking towards his boss, he snatched his greasy mane while licking his dry, chapped lips. "Boss," Whopper muttered. "You okay?" Scooter shook his head. "I don't think you feel right." Sitting up on his flank, Whopper raised his forelegs over his head, scratching his shoulders. "You don't feel right? About what?" "Let that cover fella," Scooter replied lowly. "I was thinking about him all night." "What do you do? Was it simple as he said?" Whopper asked. "No, it's just, I don't leave. When all of them other guys died, and how he only got a few cuts when them soldiers got sliced up nice and good." Whopper shrugged. "I don't know. To be truthful, could be a number of reasons, I reckon." "I guess, but just think about it for a second," Scooter said, lowering his gaze. "When we was circling them gardens, one gun fired off. I remember them boys having loads of guns." Whopper's mouth dropped as he eyed Scooter. "You saying the Coover killed them?" Closing his eyes, Scooter sighed. "I don't know, maybe. I don't trust him either way." "What should we do then? Keep on heading to the dark mines, or should we head back to the boulder?" Without pricking his eyes for the crackling embers of the dying fire, Scooter said, "I have an ancient feeling we should head to the dark mines." "You think Bakehouse there?" Whopper asked. "So yes," Scooter answered, picking up a pebble from the ground. "I'll be sure to get our princess home." Looking down at the tiny stone resting on his hub, Scooter continued, narrowing his eyes. "If I can't find her." Throwing the pebble to the fire, the weak blackened sticks above the embers collapsed, tumbling onto and encasing the last glowing warmth of the fire. I spread out from the top, so he does as a small gray mote floating about the breeze. Scooter chuckled. "Well, we might have to head on back home. Talk to that cover fella. See what he knows. And I'm pretty sure that snake's got plenty he's hiding." There was a darkness that engulfed everything. As the slaves walked along the cracked, derelict asphalt of what was the main city, the street, the hellscape skyscrapers around them towered high into the rolling blackness of the sky. Smokestacks that protruded from the mountain's base at the far end of the long road sought dense, rancid pollution into the clouds above. The pavement was quickly coated in ash, and so too was the dozens of rusted wagons pulled off to the side by the street. Taxis, buses, carpools, all smeared with the same black soot. Above them, in all the balconies of the upper stories of the old city towers were legion soldiers. Each stood post next to a lantern that glowed dim, sickly green. Occasionally, the charred, blackened clouds overhead cracked a booming uproar of thunder, followed by a flash of bright green within its thick mass. The road was narrow, air heavy with the smell of bitter sulfur. Connor was sticking into the nape of Ab's neck as the slaves moved on at a more quicker pace. Nearly trying, the slaves hustled down the road. Splittooth was grinning as a worn wooden bludgeon covered closely by his side. Carrying along the slave line, he smacked his trusty tool swiftly against the asphalt. Get moving, Marcus! We're almost there. I can see it up ahead. Bigott staggered, yanking the chain iron little neck back and forth forcefully, catching herself each time she held fast against the constant battle of ponies, hastily moving to the dark mines. The farther the group went down the road, the more empty the streets gave way to open alcoves, blasting through the facades of the main buildings that lined the sidewalks. Within each little area were places for Legion soldiers to rest. Thick brown hammocks were pinned to the brick walls, alongside wooden storage crates stacked neatly into the pyramids of 3 or more. Dim yellow lanterns sat atop of the crates, filling each alcove with light, as the slaves passed by Legion soldiers, masked or not, their eyes locked onto them with the unwavering stares. Twisted and bent lampposts 10 feet high stood at the sides of the street. When the slaves walked down its stair, Adam noticed a more narrow diverge from the main one. The smaller road went for hundreds of feet, just where he could barely see at the end of a long, bulky dark iron train stationed idly by an open-walled depot, adorned with dull red shingles. Blinking, Adam muttered to himself, "Is that the same train brother and I?" Another loud thwack of split-toothed bludgeon against the road jolted through the air, sending Adam's eyes facing forward. Holding a firm posture, Adam looked over his shoulder to the cart. During the trip to the ruined Siri, a siren had ordered the wagon to follow behind the slaves. So 6 ponies down where he was persistent, the cart bumped along the uneven ground. Since his capture, the wagon had never been so close. The sounds vibrating from his loose metal bolts of the wheels were more clear and crisp than ever before. Adam bracingly looked at split-toothed canter at the sides of the slave line. Gradually, the slaver slowed his pace, as did the slave line. Coming to the end of the wide, long stone bridge, but over the gray, fighting rapids of a shallow river, the roar of the steep whitewater currents crashing against the jagged sides of the mountain's base echoed throughout the area. A few wooden wagons, no larger than slavers, were pulled off near the tunnel's entrance. Some carried linen sacks, bulging with loaves of stale, moldy bread. Others spotted barrels of water or alcoholic cider, branded with 3 black X's. Dozens of slaves were everywhere. Each were lined to steel-mined carts 10 ponies large, filled to the top with sharp red fragments. Groups of 6 were hitched to pull carts, despite their numbers. The figures trembled and the thin, bony legs struggled to move the tremendous load. Adam's mouth dropped slightly. The slaves who pulled the carts looked hollow and broken. Their eyes were wide open and glazed with a white fog. Lash marks, some still bleeding, covered the upper regions of their backs, all the way down to the bottom of their stomachs. Little was left of their matted coats. Only patches of fur or tufts of dirt stained their remained. Dark miners, 2 or more with their large, glowing green eyes, followed the slaves pulling the carts. Attached to their masks were whips, tipped with metal barbs. When the slaves came to the bridge, a dark miner would pull a lever along the cart's side. Pistons from the bottom frame of the cart pushed upward on the container. Slowly they would raise the container's rim over the bridge, spilling out the contents onto the river below. The thundering splashes rang out, vibrating off the building walls at the base of the mountain. The bridge led into a long concrete tunnel carving into the mountain's base. Like the massive mouth of a starving beast, the sound of drills and tunneling equipment sounded faintly from within. Out of the dark entrance, 4 slaves emerged, dragging behind them carts of hulking black rocks. One cart pulling just 20 feet by Adam had a chained group of slaves that was more alive than those broken by a mine. Their eyes still retained color, and a fair bulk of muscle still encased their bones. A stallion at the head of the chain group, with tiny tufts of orange mane scattered around the top of his scarred scalp, collapsed, barely catching himself as he fell on his stomach, stalking. A dark mire, escorting his line, carried the spike mates, which bobbed up and down as the mire quickly charged the stallion's side. "Save!" the mire hissed. "Why stop? Why? Speak!" Every section of the slave's body was quivering. I can't move! My legs!" Slamming the mace right inside the stallion's ribs, the miner shouted, "No excuse! Lies! Lazy! Stupid! Work! Now!" Tears began to pool in the corners of the stallion's eyes as he shook his head. I can't!" Again, the miner thrashed the mace against the stallion, cocking the ground next to him. Lies! Look! Or I make you steal. That's one thing I'll never understand about these evil slave owners or these evil overseers or these slave workers. Why beat your slaves? Congratulations, dude! If the guy's got a broken ribcage and a broken leg, he ain't gonna do your work! And you can't do your work, you don't get the job done! And you're not getting the job done, you're not getting anything! Why do these slave owners always have to be so stupid? Choking to Steinsberg. I can't. Reeling back to Meyer caught this said, No. The slave closed his eyes tight, nodding his head as tears rolled gently down his cheeks. Meyer stood silent for a moment, looking down at the class slave. No, no cat, no. Dead, kill slave. No work, no need for slave. No need for you. Dude, work with me on this. How about instead of killing your slave, you heal him? Then, when he is healthy and strong, he makes more work! I see the blood at the minor let out a shrill shriek. Taking his head to the ground, the slave put his forelegs over his face. Down the mace came, striking the stallion squarely on the back and behind his neck. The hard, painful sounds of the slave rang clearly out through the bridge. Small steps struck to the slave's flesh, cracking bone, tearing skin. With the mace once more, the mire struck at the stallion's left temple. In that moment, the screaming faded. Wheezing, the mire looked down at the slave's head rolled to the ground. The stallion's eyes were wide open as the side of the skull caved in. Blood and tiny bits of flesh caked the side of the mire's mace. The other slaves, pulling the cart, stepped away from the body, only to be held in place by the chains that restrained him. Dead. Yes, the mire nodded. Dead. Looking to Adam and the other slave spit to lead, Meyer scoffed, Replace soon! Yes! Adam grimaced, diverting his eyes away from the scene. The grim shadow of the tunnel engulfed him and the other slaves. Inside, the dark mouth of the mine centers faded. A feeling on a wall of tightly welded curricular steel seats sealing the way in. Only a gate of open steel doors, bolted by heavy rivets, led inside. There was another door at the far right of the tunnel, a small concrete ramp that led up to the rusted green door. It was once the emergency entrance to the mine. A flickering black lamp persisted above it. A sign posted in dry red blood said, Mine inside. Adam stopped abruptly, coming to a full stop, quickly catching himself before he could spot where he stopped him. He saw the slaves in front of him shuffle to his side as Siren came strolling down the slave line. Holding a wine grins, he cried, Move over! Side by side! Move it! Glancing at the slaves behind him to step to the side, taking no more than a minute, the entire single file line slave was horizontal, standing shoulder to shoulder. The chain hung incredibly closely to the ground. Some of the links had been bunched up in small loops that puffed him outside. Gazing down at the slack of iron restraints that held him, Adam felt his heart beat as the chilling steam rolled down his back. Peering over his shoulder, Adam's eyes returned to the cart, sparing only a second to see what was behind him. His heart jumped at the sight of the wagon being parked only 5 feet in front of him. The same frigid cold tingled the hairs of his neck, putting him on end. Siren cantered next to Split Tooth, her smile still humming a soft tune. Spitzy! You're all ready now. We're going to notify the warden. Split Tooth stood before his slaves, sickly yellow lines traveling down the line. Aye, that's what you are, love. Making a hoof to the center corner of his mouth, Split Tooth called to his band. You know, stay here and watch the merchandise. Siren and I will go fetch the warden. Once we are done, we'll make certain that butts stay nice and quiet. Lowering his hoof, Split Tooth sported a grin that exposed his crooked teeth. We will all steer the locals now. Jerking his head to the service door along the open tunnel wall, Split both Tooth and Siren turned away. In unison, the slavers spread out along the slaves let out a heavy sigh. One slaver, a mare with a spiked pink mane and a spear as a key mark, spoke out. Damn, it's about time, mister! 2 more steps and I will circle the die. Yeah, agreed the other slavers. Mia rose a hoof to the brow, narrowing her eyes again the year round. Now, if I pluck a walk there, we should be astounded. Stopping her search, her eyes went wide as a smile grew on her face. Slapping a hoof forcefully onto the ground, she chortled, pointing to a group of Legion soldiers gathered around an open wagon, carrying 2 large barrels laying on their side. Wooden faucets were screwed in each barrel, as the soldiers huddled around them held mugs in their hooves. Bounding up and down, she chanted, The hill! The hill! I knew it! A slow stallion in the slaver party stepped up with a crooked smile. Motioning with a hoof to the wagon, he grunted, You think them balls won't mind selling a little of that gin or was the hogger folk? Mare shrugged, retaining her impressive smile. So sees why not, mate. Last time we did, now it shouldn't be any different. Hey, another slaver. This time a blue stallion with a thick, flat forehead added, What about the boss? Will you get upset? She her head in the mirror, whinnying, Nah, you won't know nothing so long as we kick about it. Drawing a circle along the ground, the stallion furrowed his opposing brow, staring at the ground. I think we should stay this time. Best not to get in trouble. The mayor pouted out. Vaughn. If you won't kiss the boss's ass, fine. We, on the other hoof, are going to ourselves. Slowly turning away from the slave line, the mayor trotted off with her nose held high. Every slaver followed her to the wagon where the freshly aged sire was waiting for them. Only 3 slavers remained. Among them, the slaver with the blunt forehead, puckering his chapped lips, drooping his dull brown eyes, he slammed his haunches down on the ground. There were 2 other slavers, too, set their flanks down on the ground. Adam peeked very quickly over his shoulder, looking back at the cart behind him. The slavers who pulled it had unhitched themselves. Now the wagon was vacant and free of any eyes. That was, save the 3 that decided to stay. Adam got his bill firmly in the side from her leaning down toward him, whispering, Bill, I'm going to do it. Bill briskly shook his head, raising an eyebrow at Adam. What? Sealing himself behind the foreleg supporting him, Adam motioned to the wagon behind him. I'm going to go inside and grab my screwdriver. Directing his eyes to the 3 slavers sitting idly, Bill replied, You think you can do it? Adam nodded. All right, Bill added. Where you going to stash it? If you haven't noticed, we're as bare as a newborn foal. Raising the tip of his hoof to the collar around his neck, Adam said, That's not big. Thinking if I slip it diagonally under my collar, my mane will cover the end. Rubbing the side of his lower neck, Bill hissed, feeling his head slightly. Won't that hurt? Adam shrugged. For a while, yes. I'll have to conceal it for long. I'll swear a decent spot I can take it out and work on getting out of here. Looking to the slavers, who now started to watch the slaves pull the carts of rocky earth, Adam took a deep breath. Going in. Wish me luck. Deep inside of Adam's chest, his heart pounded rapidly. A thin layer of sweat developed on his upper brow as he gingerly made his way to the wagon. Keeping his head low to the ground, and his steps light, he pulled on the chain gently. Stepping onto the cart, he jumped onto his hind legs, hanging onto the wagon's low wooden walls with his forelegs. Poking his head over the edge, Adam peered through the open wagon. Bags of food were pressed up against those links of chains and rolled mats. A few barrels of wire sat near the front, right next to a large, bulging sack. Briefly looking to the slavers, who hadn't noticed since he had met a few last saw him, Adam changed the contents of the wagon. Focusing a sack by the wire barrels, the pip-up telekinesis worked its magic, untying the knot by himself. Directing his eyes to the opening of the bag, it slowly opened, revealing dozens of items. Guns, ammo, cloths, hats, medicine were all piled inside. Digging through the sack he found at the bottom of his saddlebag. Smiling, he flipped the top open and searched it. Shuffling around the various items he collected over his travels, eyes went eye at the screwdriver. Bingo! Adam whispered to himself. Alright! A loud voice called to him. See ya! Brotherhood! Adam's heart skipped. All the hairs along his back straight up. Hopping down for the cart, he floated the screwdriver behind his head. The stallion with a flat brow came stomping towards him, his cheeks red and eyes squinting. With one powerful stomp, the stallion poked out his chest, looking down at Adam. Blinking at the slaver before him, Adam lowered himself. What do you think you're doing? The slaver asked. Adam diverted his eyes away from the slaver, choking up. I'm sorry. I thought the master would like to double everything's there in the wagon. The slaver's chest deflated. Scratching his greasy, roaring mane, stallion grunted, What? Raising his head, Adam took a step forward. You didn't know about the slaves here, did you? What they do to the unattended carts? The slaver shook his head, pouting. No, I don't. What exactly are you talking about? Well, you're thieves, master! Adam exclaimed. The worst sort, too. Our life here can make them very greedy, so they learn how to take items left unattended in carts, much like the one we have here. Blinking at the cart, the slaver said, Really? I heard something like that the last time we was here, but I don't believe it, no. Pointing at the cart, Adam interjected, It's all true. Just look around you. Why do you think there's so many guards guarding these carts? Just to make sure they don't steal from the hardworking slavers like yourself. Carefully pointing the screwdriver under his cart, Adam continued, And to compensate for my bad behavior, I decided to help the master out. Honest. Slaver intently leaned toward Adam, squinting one hazy brown eye. A lot so. Taking 2 steps back, Adam rolled his eyes. Well, that's not all. What do you mean? Slaver queried. I mean, what did the master say if he found some things were missing from the cart? Adam guessed. Adam his head sideways. The slaver started. Well, shaking his head, Adam continued. Just imagine the fury! The fury! Oh, he have whoever was standing post head, and he found something was gone while they were on duty? Rubbing the back of his neck, the slaver looked off to the side, away from Al. Oh. Smiling, Al commented, You don't have to worry. I just got done checking, and I can assure you, nothing is out of place. Pressing his screwdriver tucked underneath his collar, Al leaned forward. If you want, this business can stay between you and I. Master doesn't need to know that you weren't at full attention, or that the cart was left unattended. In fact, this might get you a promotion, or better yet, a place by his side. Also, his eyes, the slaver grinned, nodding. Aye, that does sound nice. So, what do you say? Al asked. You? Placing a hoof under his lower lip, the slaver hummed softly to himself. I guess if you want to keep quiet about this, you won't hurt none. Good work, pup. Striking around, friend imposter was just pushing out worse, Al chuckled. With you, master! Turning his head back to the slave line, the slaver spat, tapping on his shoulder. Fine, that's the case. Head back to the line, and be quick about it. Driving around the slaver, Adam returned to his place in line. Soon after, Split Tooth and Siren came trying out of the service door leading with the warning. Siren saw the other slavers huddled around this tin wagon, laughing and clucking buds together into the air. Popping her eyes wide open, she noticed Split Tooth repealing his shoulder, whispering, Oi, Splitsy, look. She started pointing to the slavers, hissing, Look. Split Tooth rolled his eyes, directing his gaze to the tin wagon where most of his band had gathered. Simon, I really don't need this while the water is. While keeping a steady pace to the slave line, Split Tooth's sight remained locked on the wagon. Boiling hot blood flushed to his face as he turned a deep red. As his left eyelid started to hurt slightly. Oh, like those lazy, insubordinate, out their heads! Slipping hoof over his mouth, Siren grinned out, chuckling. Now, Splitsy. Most of your eyes to the warren behind him, she mumbled. I was acting crazy before. We won't want to make a complete scene in front of the customer. Soaring Splitsy faced forward. Fine. But after we're dead, I'm going to beat the living daylights out of that lot. Coming to the slave line, Splittooth, Siren, and Warren stood in front of the slaves. Smiling, Splittooth extended a hoof to the chained ponies before the Warren. Say anything you like, oh glorious warden of mines. Splittooth coughed. The Warren stepped up to the slave line silently, standing only inches away from the ponies Splittooth had captured. Dim gloves, concealing goggles, glistened to these lines. When his sight fell firmly on the pony, he prowled up and down the line. Stopping at Bill, the Warren spat. You. What do? Bill pointed at himself. Boy? Yes, the Warren husked. What do? Bill's legs shook in the presence of the dark miner. Droplets of salty warm water sweat ran down the sides of his face as he told. I was a trader. I also sell scrap. Patting Bill's cheek, the Warren nodded. Have use. We'll take. Siren hopped to the Warren's side, being her Lars distorted eyeglasses. Oh, does that mean you're taking? Yes, the Warren answered slowly, moving on to Adam. You, the Warren snapped. What do? Adam looked directly into the Warren's lifeless green circle eyes. I'm a mechanic and a knowledge computer tech. The Warren leaned forward. What fix? How big? Fix drills, yes? Adam nodded. I can fix drills, sure. Moving his eyes to House Pip-Buck, the warden dropped his head to the risk appear. As he had, the warden reeled back. What is that? It's... Switchsuit said to the warden sighed hastily. Oh, nothing at all, Mike. It's a pip thing. It's broken. We couldn't remove it. Clearinghouse, Switchsuit grunted. It's not right, Pep! Adam flattened his ears, nodding briskly. Staring at Switchsuit, the warden said nothing. Moving down the line, the leader of the Dark Mice selected one of the other individuals before coming to Big Lot. Peering down at her, the warden wheezed, sitting his head to the side. Child, what do? Lowering her eyebrows, Big Lot snapped at him. I'm a princess! Don't talk to me like that! Warren lowered his head to her face, nearly pressing his mask against her nose. Again he murmured, What do? She narrowed her sapphire eyes down, pressing her nose against his mask. Why should I answer a big creep like you? The warden rose his head, shaking it. Not now, know what she do. No work, no sale. Arrogant, stubborn, won't do well in mine. Switchsuit interjected, smiling, bowing to the warden. Please, Mike, reconsider. Sure, she might be a little snappy, but a little hard work and the mind will do her well. Yeah, Silent agreed, sparring the same percentages. Think of the possibilities. She could clean or go into them small tunnels. No, the warden said sternly. No sale, no buy. Big Lot snarled at the warden as he walked to the next slave. Adam stepped down the line, looking to the warden. Stop! I need her! Pausing right where he stood, the warden stood stiffly still. Switchsuit sprinted towards Adam, grinding his teeth. Pop! Back in line! Please, Adam persisted. I need her to help me fix equipment. Swinging his head around, the warden stared at Adam. What? Throwing his eyes to the floor, Adam answered. I'm no unicorn, so I need help breathing to small, complex species, especially under gels. Taking a few light steps toward Adam, the warden asked, Can't work? Shaking his head, Adam went on, She knows me, and she works well when watched. All I ask is she comes with me, or I can't work. Switchsuit took several steps back, before a new smirk smiled on his face. Moving to the warden's side, he slewed, You know, I'll see them work. They'll be a good bargain. Lots of work done. Buy both. Work well, the warden asked. Sarah's ears erected themselves, so she too had a little smile as came to view. Yeah, they work well. Fantastically semi-thirst one. Switchsuit murmured, probably a hope on her own zone. Besides, you won't want to to burst or explode now, won't you? Throwing himself to the air, he knocked back Spigtooth. Snapping his goggles to siren, Warren barked. Gah, buy both. Drawing from a thin cloth pouch on his gold-stained wraps was a heavy bag of caps. Tossing his sirens, he caught it uglily and sank intently. Money legs, Mike. Money legs. He showed craning the back of her forelegs. Switchsuit cleared his throat and bowed. Oi, guess doing business with you, woman. Waving a hoof at the two slavers, the warden dismissed them. Good slaves. Bring. No more talking. Oh, right, with you. Switchsuit chirped, hustling to the main chain binding the slaves. Unlacing the 5 slaves the warden had brought, Siren fetched a small looking chain to attach them to. Holding each chain to the shorter link, the warden took the end, leading to the service door. You follow, the warden hissed to the slaves. No talk, no fight. You will die. Yanking on the chain, the warden opened the door, summoning the slaves into him. Chuckling heavily, the warden sneered. Welcome to the mines, slaves. Vladimir saw his glassy reflection in polished metal, the freelancer breastplate resting on his cot. Beside the radiant image of his tired self was the jet paint of white number 7. Sighing, he pulled his head away from the armor, walking to the dresser across the room. Dragging his toes across the floor, he opened the first drawer, removing a revolver, holstered in a fine brown leather case. Just as he had started making his way back to the cot, the spectre appeared, hovering right over him. That's strike 1, you know. Turning away from the demonstration, it said, flying onto the cot. Vladimir played the operation no mind. Instead, continued to lay the revolver on a cot alongside the armor. Next to the freelancer's gear was the duster with the leg guards. Worn and beaten, with tear edges around the sleeves, folded neatly beside the armor. Sitting neatly atop the duster, the creature folded its legs, frowning. Doesn't it bother you? Shaking his head once, Vladimir turned to the dresser again. Ignoring the creature, as to his side, the spirit placed a hoof on Vladimir's shoulder. Staring at him, the apparition spat. Doesn't it hurt? Opening the barn door, Vladimir removed a rusty saddlebag, returning to the cot. Yes, it does hurt. The creature jeered, moving to the side of the other cot. Really, you seem very reserved. I need to start tolerating sometime. Why not start now? Replied Vladimir as he placed the bag at the end of the cot. Drawing the flask from his pocket, Vladimir slipped the sweet wine inside. Gulping the chilled liquid, he sat down the flask on the right stand. Spencer came hovering inches from the ground at the end of the cot. There, he sunned his foreleg on the various pieces of armor. What's this all for? Usually I can tell what you're doing but here. But this is strange, my friend. Very strange. Vladimir paused and blinked at the creature. And sailing from his nose, Vladimir smiled. Well, if you really must know, I plan to well it. All of it. The phantom fled backward with bulging eyes. What? Why? Vladimir answered. I realize the coalition won't come out here to what their project is. To my knowledge, they should have some gems. And the ones we need to finish the project. And, the creature hummed, leaning forward, pulling its hoof around in a gyrate motion. And, Vladimir continued, I've heard tell her sons were close by. If I were to join them as an ally, I could get into the project. Kind, the creature folded his legs again. How do you know if that will even work? What makes you so confident? Simple, Vladimir parried. They haven't seen me since our meeting at Ironhoof. I have changed a lot since then. Also, I know a spell that will alter my own color. I'll make it seem like I'm a freelancer. As the mother knows what I believe she is, then we'll lead the project, which will take us directly to where the sun gems are located. Nodding, the creature flashed Vladimir's bright, glowing teeth and a quick grin. That is something the Vladimir I know would do. Stealthy, witty, effective. I assume you'll have our forces track you? Of course, Vladimir responded. Outside Vladimir's door, a dark mire sat on his haunches. Simon's brown hood pressed firmly against the cold metal as he listened to the Legion Emperor talk to himself. Stats was walking down the hallway. Until about halfway through the corridor, he stopped suddenly. Squinting, his eyes cocked sideways. By Vladimir's door, the dim glow of the Mire's goggles gleamed in the faint light of the hall. The Mire had his back turned to Thats, completely unaware of his presence. Swinging his paws, Thats approached the Mire, jumped up and spun around to face him. The two ponies stared at each other quietly. That was until Thats broke to silence. Excuse me, but what are you doing outside His Majesty's chamber? The Mire shook his head. Nothing. Make sure your room's safe. This place is key. Very dangerous to Super Legion. Yes. Under his eyes, Thats motioned with his hoof to the end of the hallway. Go on then. I'm fairly certain this place is safe. Mire back wheezing. Super Legion, no need worry. Yes, Super Legion is. No danger. Firing away, Thats watched the Mire stop at the end of the hall. Pausing for just a moment, the strange pony looked back at him. Just the round green hue of the Mire's goggles pierced the dark. Facing forward once more, the Mire went right back to his sight. Thats shook his head as he came to Vladimir's door. Damn Mires, sulking like rats. Letting his foot, Thats locked on the neighboring bell of Vladimir's door. The bell ring sounded even longer as he lowered his hoof back to the ground. Wait no more but a few moments. Vladimir opened the door. Face down, the party door swishing resonated in the hallway as it revealed Vladimir, leaning against the doorway, smiling. Giving Vladimir a slight bow of his head, Thats greeted him. My lord, you requested my presence? Beckoning Thats to come inside with a hoof, Vladimir said, Yes, come in. I have much to tell you. Stepping through the whole doorway by the sliding doors behind Thats, he entered the hallway, The mire emerged from the dimness, approaching Vladimir's sword gingerly. Each step was light, generating little to no sound the closer he came. Once more, the mire sat down, pressing his head against the door, listening. No danger. No danger to Surface Legion. Two small rat roaches crawled alongside the cracked asphalt. Behind their oval bodies, small tracks spread a thin layer of ash to coat the ground. Showing them with his hoof, Neil put his head over the rusty wagon pulled off to the side of the road in the middle of the city. Above the sky let out a booming crack, flashing loudly as a sickly green light flashed in the starry rolling back clouds. Legion soldiers patrolled balconies on the right side of the street. Under them was the torn remains of the shop, awnings scrunched by war and distant past. The soldiers standing posts on their own designated platform, wielded huge, bulky rifles that they stood attentively into positions, scanning the area before them slowly. The group was gathered behind a dusty cart that had crashed into an orange fire hydrant. Everyone behind the safety of the vehicle kept their heads low, their tones to a minimum as Neo continued to inspect the scene. Diving his head back down behind cover, Neo said, "There's 4 guards on the street. Down the road a little ways is a train depot. I saw some cars piled by it. It's hard to say if they're pulled by a working train, or even how long they've been there." "Their cars are staked on the right side, right?" Lucy asked. Neo nodded. "Yeah." Raising her head over the top of the cart for a moment, Lucy added, "We can just move along the right side of the sidewalk undetected. For what we do after that, I don't know." Pulling his pip buck, Neo switched the map of the Dark Mines. Peering down at the map, Neo remarked, "There's a train station down the road from here." "No, then there's a road that goes right from here. Should take us straight to the entrance of the Dark Mine." "Perhaps," Buzzfire interjected. "We must find some way to get in without the use of weapons." Two shots looked at the soldiers in the balcony, rubbing the back of his head gently, gulping down a nervous lump in his throat. "I was thinking that thought. The last thing we want is to be full of land and mail and every other sort of outlaw you can think of." "You think we might be able to find uniforms? Someone who could get us on that train?" Neo queried. "Affirmative," Webster answered. "As a possibility. One might want to hardly consider." A fluttering fluttered at the bottom of Neo's stomach as the plan came together. Tightening his diaphragm and inhaling deeply, he nodded once firmly. "Alright, then if we all know what to do, let's go. We gotta save Adam and Bill." Lester was the first to remove himself from the safety of the damaged wagon. Quickly dancing under the protection of a metal awning on the facade, the nearest patrolling soldier. He turned his eyes briefly down the road before gesturing a hoof for the others to come. Neo whispered to Bloodstrider, "It's clear to go." Nodding silently, Bloodstrider sprinted to the awning to meet Lester. The other 3 zebras followed behind their chief in a single file line. Even the same brisk face, buttoning his ears, Neo watched the guards place themselves upon the balconies. The moment that the guard closest to them was turned, one of their more party danced across the street. Minutes later, everyone was on the other side of the street, dashing under the metal awning. A small hole had been torn at the top of the metal, and through it the other 2 guards had been seen. The third, more obscured by the body of the second, directly above them was the first guard, his heavy hoof steps causing the rotting supports to creak uneasily. Down the sidewalk was other awnings, made from red and white striped cloth burned and tattered. Others bore metal seats of various polished alloys, wielded together looking separately artistic. "We'll sneak all the way down to the train depot at the end of the street. Once we're there, what then?" "To get to the train," Buzzfire answered. "The Legion transports everything across the province on them. If my memory serves me well, and that train should be the same that crosses the province. Inside its cars might be valuable supplies, which might aid us in saving those you had lost." Allie looked up at the small hole in the awning, watching as the second guard turned back to him. "Guys, his back is turned. We're going to move. Now's the time." Sparing no more time for Al's child, the group moved up the street. There, below the torn striped awning, underneath the second guard, they saw the third. He, unlike the last 2, didn't pace himself. Rather, he stood still, only scanning the structure of the street before him. Pressing themselves against the wooden doors of the building's entrance group, looked up at the attentive soldier. If timed wrongly, he could see them move out of the corner of his eye. At that point, he would alert all the guards. In moments, he would all be dead. Or, if the universe felt especially cruel, they would only live to continue their lives as the slaves of the Legion. Gritting his teeth, he alerted the guard. Damn, that guy's not gonna move, is he? Lucy, too, was staring at the guard from the holes in the awning. Rubbing the soft gray fur on her chin, she hummed to herself, and smirking, she looked at Two Socks. Hi, Two Socks, she groaned. Taking a step back, the strange smiles he gave him sent the hairs on his neck standing. Yeah? She took a step toward him, beating her short eyelashes. You wouldn't happen to have something small and metal on you by any chance? His ears perked up, smiling. Quickly started digging through his saddlebags. Yeah, sure. Got just a thing. From out of his bag, sitting neatly in his hoof was a small metal ball with two eyes and a smiling face crudely carved to the side. Holding in front of Lucy, he turned. This is Wilson. Not entirely sure where he is, but he's been a wonderful companion in my bag. I'm not dying of anything worth the happen to. Before he could even finish, Lucy seized Wilson from his hoof, throwing him down the street, away from the train depot. It crashed into a dented garbage can on the other side of the road. Throughout the entire street, the sound of Wilson smartly fastening to the damaged receptacle rang clearly. Neil swiftly turned his eyes to the holes in the awning. Like a hawk, the guard immediately turned his horse to the clamorous noise. Two Socks held his empty hoof up, eyes wide as he stared at the vacant spot where Wilson once was. Dropping his jaw, he gasped. Two Socks puckered his lip, addressing Lucy. Why would you do that? Lucy shot her gaze at the third guard, who was now looking over the railing on his balcony, hoof over his dark mask visor. Don't tell him! She said, slapping a hoof against Two Socks' back. Let's move! Now! Alan was tossed in a dark, dusty room. His muzzle made contact with the floor, instantly sparking a sore pain that traveled up to the rest of his head. On the sides of his body, tiny puffs of dry powder-like dirt twisting in the air. Groaning, Alan pushed himself to the rubbing his aching, throbbing nose. He heard Big Lot yelp as she too was thrown aside, lighting next to him. Bill came next, followed by another slave before one more was tossed carelessly into the room. There were no windows and no lights. The only source of pure illumination came from the open door leading in. The light from outside lay dimly glistening against the quartz that made up the cavernous walls of their cell. The floor, as Adam had recently discovered, was merely a thin layer of dirt, dry and loose with solid rock not far below it. Turning around to the doorway, a dark silhouette stood in the center. Nearly clearly, every one of the warden's features were cloaked in a dark shadow against the back of the cell. Just only left the glow of his green eyes looking down at him, giving the warden the appearance of some nightmarish creature standing over him. New home. No. The warden rasped. Bacot promptly rose to her feet. Turning around, she stared at the warden with her hose trembling. Why did you bring us here? Warren stood quietly before hissing. Quiet. Too much noise. Even dark. Break you for work. Raising a hoof, the warden gently pressed down the cold iron of the thick cell door. No night. 7 days. No food. 3 days. No water. 1 day. Only solitude. Only darkness. Closing the door slowly, the warden chuckled as all hinges of the door screeched viciously throughout the room. When the door had come shut, the sound of the gears turning, locking from the outside, clattered about. Not long after, the faint dropping of hose, trapping against the floor, echoed. With each step, the warden's hostess faded gradually into silence. He had left the room completely dark, and for a moment, everyone within was quiet. Not even the shallow breaths of the 5 slaves could be heard stirring in the hushed atmosphere. Until the pure veil of the darkness came to whimper from Big Clan. It's so dark. Adam picked his pitchfork slant blonde, lighting the whole room with fluorescent orange light. Holding his dented personal risk appear over his brow, he turned to the sorcery mule. Big Clan had curled up into a small ball, shivering vigorously. Her hose had covered her head, protecting herself from the unknown within the darkness. Coming to her, Alan extended a hoof over to her shoulder. Here, he said, lowering his head down to her, smiling. Be okay. Slowly removing the hose from her head, she rose up at him, blinking. You did it again. I told you, Alan stated his hoof out to her. We'll get out of this together. For no more than a few seconds, she looked up at him. Nora's glow of the lamps tenderly simmering in her sapphire eyes. Her expression quickly turned sour as she shook her head. Without taking a sip, she stood up, patting herself down. Bill, if you hadn't helped me, I could have been out here by now. Anna retracted herself, raising an eyebrow. What? You'll be looking for me, she replied, nodding. Oh, yes, I'm sure of it. What's he know I'm gone, though? Inside her room, a bare with bed, purple floor, and a tangled red mane tucked away inside her face, single body pin side. Dripping her head with a few strands of dark-stained hair, suspended over the dull pink eyes. They always say that, she groaned. I said it at one point. It's only natural you say it too. Big Hot frowned, leering at the mayor. I'm different. I'm a princess. You'll come for me. You'll see. The mayor chuckled briefly. If you're a princess, then I'm the freaking queen of Huffington. Hey, Bill interjected, taking a step in between them. There's enough of that from the lot of you. Famous brown mule! And you're right, they're coming. Big Hot exclaimed, stomping a hoof against the hard ground. And what happens if they can't find you in time? Karen swiftly. Big Hot reeled her head. They would. I know they would. Well, they didn't. Added, taking a single step toward her. I couldn't imagine the trial that would be. No friends to help you. How would you move on every day? Well, Big Hot paused. All of the moment gave way to a frozen glare at the door. A deep wrenching pain stabbed her stomach and twisted around. And as the clear brief images everything had done was snapping into her mind until it choked. What she had done to so many ponies, hurting them, mocking them, treating them like objects meant to be broken and used. It came rushing to her furiously, gnawing the pain inside the more she contemplated her position. Her breathing had become rapid. Legs began trembling. I have no friends, she barked, tears pooling in the corners of her eyes. Slipping to her haunches, the tears rolled down her cheeks, specking the dry ground. You're fine. Gopher betrayed me, and who would he send? He wanted to kill me. Shrugging, she sniffed. Spirit wouldn't find me. For all I know, he's probably sucking up to that fraud of a captain. Adam approached her gingerly, then sitting down next to her, wrapped a hoof around her shoulder. I'll be your friend, Big Hot, if you'll let me. Sobbing, she wet away the white streaks across her face. Well, I hurt you. Your brothers and friends. I tried to kill you all. Al smiled. We'll all make mistakes. Phil sat down, rubbing the back of his neck. Is she gonna be okay, Adam? Adam nodded. Yeah, I think she is. Big Hot, gazing up at her eyes, still simmering in the light. If you want to get out, how are we going to do it? Bending his neck forward slightly, Adam revealed a screwdriver tucked diagonally under his collar. Buzzing out with his hoof, let the tool fall before catching it, holding it low for Big Hot to see. The sharp end of the tool had dug to his skin, pressing down on his fur, leaving a faint mark where it had been. This here, this is how we'll escape. Slave sitting in the center of the group clutched. A screwdriver! Looking down at the tiny tool pressing his hoof, Adam smiled. It'll be all we need. And hopefully, the Dark Miners won't have second thoughts about leaving us in here for a week. You sure about this plan of yours? Asked Bill. Adam shrugged. That any plan is 100% sound. But at least the plan is better than no plan at all. Oh, well then. Bill replied, standing onto his hose. Is there anything you need us to do? Laying the screwdriver on the floor, Adam rose the tip of his hoof to his chin, rubbing against the skin of the room around him. Looking to the mayor sitting in the center of the cell, lighting his eyes at her before pointing the bobby pin, holding back the excess mane on her head. Before we start, I need that bobby pin of yours. The mayor turned to Adam, resting a hoof over her chest. Me? Nodding, Adam added. Yeah, that bobby pin will come real handy here in a minute. Covering the pin with her hoof, she asked, what will you need it for? Tapping the metal collar again, hugging his neck, Adam remarked, First, I'm going to remove these collars. And then what? Bill asked. Then, Adam replied, glancing to the door, we get out of here. What do you mean you're leaving? Daz exclaimed, stepping back. Cases of crimson, glowing magical roar, the shade guards and freelancer armor floated towards Vladimir. Raising hoof into the air, one of the metal leg guards stretched onto his leg, or a snapping set around it. Till he fastened, the guard remained steady on his limb. Vladimir was nearly covered in thick armor, from the battle-worn breastplate to the hind leg guards. This included the one bare foreleg and the tattered duster. It is my decision is final, Captain, Vladimir declared. I need to do this. For the Legion. For the project's future. That's watched as Vladimir snapped the next leg guard to his lower leg. Taking several steps towards Vladimir, that's please, sir, reconsider. We need you here to lead us! Clearly sticking his newly secured piece of armor protecting his leg, Vladimir walked to the side of his cot, gazing downward at the neatly folded duster resting upon it. It'll take us years to accumulate the diluted tungsten ore to gain the power to run stone. Imagine what the Coalition could do in that time. This way, you'll be able to retake what we lost and gain the stones you need to finish Iron Hammer. Trying briskly to his master's side, Thas extended a hoof on the duster in the cot. Sir, following her sons is not the solution. This is not a good decision on the slightest. What if you want to get captured or hurt? Hunting the duster up, Vladimir took out his puffs, drawing toward dust. Drifted off to one another. If anything were to happen, I trust you and your men would comfort me. Or do you doubt your own abilities, Captain? That's his eyes went wide as he stared at Vladimir, jaw hanging barely open. Shaking his head 3 times, he stomped himself on the ground. I do not doubt our might! We are the finest army that this province, nay, the world has ever seen! I simply fear your well-being despite our best efforts to aid you, my lord! Blinking the duster over his shoulder, Vladimir stuck his forelegs through his sleeves. Fixing what areas the coat lacked, he tightened, loosened, and adjusted it to fit his body. And, holding it with his head held high, tried to the other side of the room, where over his personal dresser was a mirror with a jagged crack running down the side of the right corner. Studying himself in the mirror, he put a hoof to the side of his face, shifting his posture to one side. I understand, Captain, but you must understand that this is the only way it has to be done. No, it's not, That's Karen taking a place by Vladimir's side. You consider an agent, a mercenary, someone other than you, my emperor. Vladimir had a third pauser as he continued to inspect the outfit on him. Have you noticed I've been acting strangely, Captain? Test point, why you ask? Please, just answer the question, Captain, Vladimir insisted. Tess responded in a stutter. Well, if you must know, yes I have, sir. Well, recently I felt unfulfilled with my place in the world. I feel this way we can endure the hardships of the world I wish to tame. To enjoy it before we civilize it. Sighing, Tess massaged the bridge of his nose. I understand how joyful it must be to rule an empire such as our own, but you must listen to reason. You must not! Swiftly snapping his narrowed eyes to that, Vladimir moved his face closely to the legion captain. Nearly pressing his nose against Statz's muzzle, Vladimir hissed, It's decided. Period. Returning to his cot once more, Vladimir let Stats at the dresser. Standing idly in his place for a moment, Stats coughed before shaking his head. There isn't a way out of talking about this, is there, my lord? Pain had formed a stare on Vladimir's brow. Very quickly he could feel the aching spread throughout the upper region of his cranium. Gently massaging the sides of his head with the tip of his hoof in swift circular motions, sighed as the soreness took over his thoughts. Sighed his eyes tightly, Vladimir grunted. Indeed, nothing. Vladimir saw his head. My lord, are you all right? Das asked, stepping toward him. Gasping deeply, Vladimir roused himself. I'm fine, Captain. Perhaps you shouldn't leave if your condition becomes worse, Das commented. Maybe you should rest. Take a moment to recover yourself. Warm, heated blood rushed to Vladimir's face as the pain within his brow throbbed intensely. Breathing faster and faster by the moment, he swung himself around Vlad, snapping at him. No! I said no. Reeling back, Vladimir, Vlad lowered his eyebrows, finding at Vladimir. Very well, he replied, straightening his form. Is there anything I can fetch you then, my lord? Panting heavily, Vladimir leaned on his cot. Beads of freshly salt sweat running down the sides of his face. Tell the others of my plans, and bring me a tracking device. A blowing simmering at the bottom of his stomach. Feeling he kicked down his face, eyebrows narrowed. Very well, my lord. A slight bow of his head, Das walked out of Vladimir's room, shutting the door behind him, leaving Vladimir completely alone. Pounding at a violent pace, his heartbeat would not subside. His legs were stumbling and balance uneven. Carefully turning around, holding himself up with both hooves on his cot, he sat down on the floor. Inhaling the damp air, Vladimir pointed his nose to the ceiling, feeling the warm beads of sweat run down his cheeks and neck. His head felt light. Around him, the entire world spun quickly, occasionally wobbling to the left or right. Disoriented sensations made Vladimir's stomach churn as his breath swallowed. This has to work, Vladimir thought. Otherwise, I'll be dead before I have a chance of recovering. Leaning over to the nightstand of his cot, the pain erupted a fiery burst of aching pain. Gnawing around the side of his head, the soreness intensified with each little moment. Slowly opening the only drawer of the stand, he produced a small flask. Popping up and down in the air, the aura gathered around the wine flask faded. Then, the halo was encased the flask vanished, sending it falling to the ground. Picking up the flask with both trembling hands, Vladimir winced the pain, stabbing his mind. It was like a knife digging into his brain, twisting and turning around carelessly. Undoing the lid of the flask, he raised it to his lips. Gulping down the wine, he didn't stop ingesting until the liquid, even as his breath in his lungs, started to thin. Each cool drop that trickled down his throat was relieving. Moments after consuming the wine, the pain diminished. Letting the flask drop on Vladimir gasped for air, as the dank air of the mines filled his lungs. He coughed hoarsely. Raising a rag, Vladimir puffed. Those birds are my only hope to end this.